built up over the years. So if the river gets to, 89, we know what to do. If it gets to 90, we know what to do. If it gets to 91, we know what to do. We kind of have a process and a step every elevation that we know what to do that's been successful over the years. Mm-hmm. And we also have a flood committee that's chaired by Dick Sundberg, who, he's a retired Army Corps of Engineers engineer, and he's been very instrumental in coming up with a plan and coming up with what the city does at certain stages.
And Afternoons Live is getting underway here on KFGO. I'm Tyler Axness, your host. Eric Johnson is your producer, and you know what? We got a full show lineup for you. And I'm not in the studio, though. I'm actually up at Studio North, we'll call this today. In fact, the American Legion, Harwood, North Dakota is where you could find us. I'm going to be on air till 5. I assure you I'll be hanging out afterwards if you want to stop on by. Bingo later tonight as well, and we'll tell you all about that a little bit later on. But the reason why, in fact, we're up in Harwood is because anytime you've heard about a flood informational meeting, you have heard the town Harwood get brought up. And, in fact, I know that with all the rivers rise in the area where they connect, well, close to this area. So we're just having a conversation about what we see right now, what the forecast is, and what, if anything, will be done if necessary. And, of course, I got some great individuals to get you in the know on that up here in Harwood. Let's start off with the main man, Blake Hankey, Harwood Mayor. Blake, good to have you back on again, man.
Tyler, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for coming on over today. I know how busy of a man you are, especially with all the meetings and all the flood watching that's going on right now.
It's been a busy time.
Yeah, it has been. I've had you on a few times to give me an update on it, and it's encouraging, I guess is how I would say it. We're going to get to that a little bit because I know the National Weather Service did issue a forecast earlier today. That's on the positive side for us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we'll get to that. I also want to introduce you to Brady Woodward. He is with Moore Engineering. In fact, the individual that's out there constructing levees, dams, water resource districts across the area. You're familiar with Brady. Brady, appreciate you coming on. How's it going?
Yeah, thank you. Very well after the forecast the National Weather Service put out. So.
Well, it's funny because I think earlier it was like 91.5, and they dropped it down to like 91.1. It's a couple inches, but you know what? It makes a big difference.
It really does. There's things that happen just right shy of all those numbers, so it's great to see it going down.
Yeah, guys, I got to say, though, I've been taking County Road 17. I live on the west side in Harwood here. From one morning to the next, it was, okay, there it is. It rose, and it rose quickly, but we're confident.
We are. Just watching the water levels in my backyard, what in 24 hours, how much it's risen. The Cheyenne has risen has been really impressive. Just the sheer, not how necessarily how high it is, but how much it came up in just a day. I understand that we're probably going to crest around Sunday from what I see, and you're right, Tyler. The latest numbers are 91.1. We feel real good at 91.1. Yeah, we do. And now, granted, we're being careful. We have all the precautions in place. Yeah. But at 91.1, we feel pretty comfortable.
I want to talk about those precautions in a minute, but I want to, Brady, talk about what's already been done. I mean, the infrastructure that's been built up over the years, because this isn't the first flood fight or flood preparation that this area has had to do outside of the Fargo-Moorhead. So walk us through some of that. You're involved in so many water districts across the water table here.
Yeah, Tyler, no, there's a lot of precautions being taken. It's always a diligent thing to make sure everybody's prepared for it. Like Blake said, with the crest prediction today, it feels really good, but still, monitoring and watching everything that's out there. So Harwood, we have helped them, put together a flood plan. So we've got maps, we have action plans at every elevation that's out there. Contacting of everybody else that needs to be contacted, be the railroads, contractors, just be prepared and have everything in our back pocket if needed.
You guys have a lot of eyes on the ground out there, too. You're talking about your team that's kind of spread throughout, because it's not just here where the water is. It's coming from somewhere, and it's coming in a hurry. For example, I think it was last Saturday, we decided to take that drive, head west, and that was when we didn't have any snow on the ground. That's changed now, obviously. But you get about 15 miles west of this area, and there was quite a bit of snowpack still out in those fields.
There absolutely was, So I've got a team on the ground here that we spread from Steele County down to the south end of Cass County, and then down into Minnesota into the Boyd to Sioux Water Resource District. Watching and monitoring and helping out with all these floods. So there is so much going on. It's last Sunday, I believe it was. We're watching Amenia. and they're struggling with some items out there, and we're moving some ice at a bridge out there, and that continues to move to the east here towards Harwood. Yeah. So it's a continual effort.
Armenia was my turnaround spot. That's right. Okay, Armenia's far enough. I'm going to turn around here. So we were both crossing paths out in that part of Cass County. Blake, you've been the mayor now for how long here in Harwood?
3 years.
3 years?
3 years. I was on council before that, so I've been with city government for a while.
Yeah, so, I mean, you've been around the block a few times when it comes to this spring and what happens in this area, right?
Unfortunately, yes. I mean, I feel comfortable with what Harwood has done, but boy, we'd rather not go through it.
You know, I'm naive in this point, and that could be before your times. You know, 97, of course, I was a little tyke up in the Devil's Lake Basin, right? I remember people leaving Grand Forks, coming there, staying in the hallways at Lake Region State College. And, you know, some of the preparation, we talk about infrastructure around that, you have the Cheyenne diversion, right? And my understanding, again, you can educate me on this, that, you know, Harwood elected to not partake in that. Is that the history of that? I'm generally asking. I don't know the history and whether or not was that the right decision. Are we dealing with what we can now? Because obviously you guys have been doing a great success with what we have here. But just walk me through some of that history if you can.
Boy, that's before
your time. I figured it was,
too. Brady, if you have any knowledge on that, I don't.
You know, I've got some possibilities on that, but I don't have any actual knowledge on that. But, you know, it's a great place that Harwood's at right now with FM diversion going in and, you know, looking at that protection happening. So being part of Harwood, I guess, as an engineering firm, we feel very good about the place they're in right now.
Well, and without partaking in that, I mean, the infrastructure that's been built up, you know, the roads and, of course, the dike just right there. I mean, it's noticeable that the investment's been there to have it be at 91.1 or 91.5, 90, whatever it is, and still feel pretty confident that we're stable here. So money, time, resources, expertise have all gone into this.
You're right. And over the last several years, we have bought some houses that were in problem areas and then reworked our dike system.
Okay.
So that's really helped a couple low spots that we've had. Our dikes are even our lowest spots are 92.5. Not that we couldn't shore those up with some sandbags or some clay, but the river's never been to 92.5. Even in 97, it wasn't at 92.5. Okay. So we've never had high water that high ever in Harwood. So we're protected to 92.5 minimally, and we can always raise those dikes if needed with clay and with sandbags. But the river has never gotten that high.
Okay. And we're confident, obviously. I mean, right now, that ain't going to happen this year either. I guess Blake Hankey, the Harwood mayor here, and Brady Woodard with the Moore Engineering. I've seen some sandbags out on pallets along County 17. I've seen those sandbags have not moved from those pallets from those homeowners either. That's just a positive sign that I've taken. You know, this is only my second spring up here that we've lived in Harwood. So I visited with the neighbors in the area, you know, because last year I'm like, okay, there's plenty of water in my backyard. Normal. And everybody just seems like they're just relaxed as far as, we've been here before. This is nothing new. And hearing, you know, from the individuals maybe a little bit further south, like, oh, yeah, you know, we got the sandbags just in case, but we might not have to touch a single one of them. Hopefully.
Yeah, no, and you know, you're right. Coming up County Road 17 from West Fargo to Harwood, that's a very large population of rural, you know, houses out there that always, you know, are monitoring what's happening there. And that crest at that 91.1 is going to be, it's so close to things happening for an action plan out there that you know, like I said, we're going to remain diligent on everything. But the county highway department with Cass County is doing a fantastic job, you know, getting the sandbags out and keeping everybody aware of where things are at and what's happening. So I'm curious, because when people hear Harwood, you know, they think probably just, all right, the actual city limits, I guess is what I'd put. Well, growing up in Leeds, I mean, there was a lot of rural residents that Leeds was home. So when we think about Harwood being impacted, and Blake, I'll throw this to you.
Sure.
You know, I think about the Brook Tree area just a little bit to the north here. I drove by there. Water's up. But again, the homes have that protection built in right there. We talk about County Road just south of town here, the gravel road that turns into 9th Street or Veterans Boulevard. That seemed fine out there. Does that all, is that included in when we say Harwood?
You know, when I'm speaking about it, it doesn't. I'm taking a look at, like, I don't want to sound like a big city, but like Harwood proper, right?
Yeah, sure.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Well, that's the proper way to put it.
So, and so I'm not talking about the extraterritorial zone. Even though they would have a Harwood address, that wouldn't be technically the city,
Sure.
the city of Harwood.
Okay.
So I'm talking about Harwood. I'm talking about just the roughly 900 residents that live here in the city.
Okay. Blake, what I want to do is, because we talked about already, we're confident, but you know what? I mean, we get a torrential downpour, something happens. Let's talk about the preparation that you guys have been putting together in the years that you've been doing this.
Correct, and it predates me as well. But through I guess our old superintendent, our current superintendent of public works, our engineer over at Moore Engineering, we've just developed a plan at every elevation. We know what to do. Just built up over the years. So if the river gets to 89, we know what to do. If it gets to 90, we know what to do. If it gets to 91, we know what to do. Whether it's closing valve gates, whether it is like today, for instance, with the snowfall, since all the gates are closed, usually that's how the city drains into the river. Well, obviously we don't have those open. The river's going to drain into us, right?
Right.
So now we have to pump that water, back over the dike, back into the river to get it out of town, so we don't have any kind of trapped water that's going to cause problems for residents. So we kind of have a process and a step every elevation that we know what to do that's been successful over the years. Mm-hmm. And we also have a flood committee that's chaired by Dick Sundberg, who he's a retired Army Corps of Engineers engineer, and he's been very instrumental in coming up with a plan and coming up with what the city does at certain stages. And he has a group of people that are on his committee that all have a different role from people that are in charge of getting guys lined up for sandbags if we need to do that, from people that are going to volunteer to walk the dike when it's high water to make sure that there's no issues with the dike, so on and so forth. And so, when I say that I'm confident, I guess I am. We're always cautious. We're always watching it. Mm-hmm. But, the history will tell us one thing. We've never flooded here, which obviously is a good thing, right? But also I feel like we have a plan. Yeah, thank you for knocking on wood for me.
Yes.
But we also have a plan in place that's been tried and true over the last, it predates my time as mayor and council, so at least over 10 years. Mm-hmm. And we've just followed that plan that we've constructed over, however many years, and now it just seems to be that it's worked every time, and we've never had any close calls or any real scares. And that is why when I say, I'm confident, I am. Just for instance, we have a couple thousand yards of clay on the ready. Mm-hmm. All right, are we going to have to use it? Let's hope not. I don't think so. The way the numbers look, absolutely not.
Sure.
But we have it ready if we need it.
Right.
We have sandbags at the ready. Are we going to need them? Probably not. We shouldn't. Right. But they're ready for us if we do. And so this year we took it a step further with the high water, and we did reach out to the Army Corps of Engineers.
Okay.
So Dick and I met with a couple of the engineers from the Army Corps, signed a contract with them, no cost to the citizens of Harwood, but if we need their help, it's a phone call away. Right?
Yeah.
So when I say that I'm confident, I just feel like not only historically have we been all right, but we have the clay, the sandbags, the committee, the Army Corps of Engineers is backing us up. I just kind of feel like even if something were to go awry, I think we could get it patched up pretty quick.
Well, and it's the safety valves, right? I mean, you talk about you can do this. Well, if this happens, I mean, you have something planned for every step of the way, and that's positive. That's leadership, is what it is, and then it provides just a sense of ease. I mean, for somebody who's relatively new to the area, saying, okay, well, yeah, overnight that Cheyenne River shot up pretty dang quick. Well, knowing that, hey, if it gets to this mark, here's what the plan is. Brady, what I miss, man?
No, I just wanted to say, Harwood's a tricky area. You have the Red River out to the east. That once that comes up, you got backwater coming towards you from the east, and then you've got the Maple River dumping into the Cheyenne River. You've got the two Rush Rivers that are dumping into that. Everything kind of comes to a head right near Harwood. So a lot of it does happen with the elevation of the Red River. If that Red River stays where it's predicting right now, it should be great because the Cheyenne River can continue to flow through. All the other rivers can get into the Cheyenne. Uh-huh. So it's a really tricky spot here to kind of look out for. But the city's great to work with, and they are very well prepared. So it's a good place to be.
Well, I'm happy to hear that as a new Harwood resident. Blake, anything else, my man?
No, just to echo that point, and that's a big thing for us too, is we watch the Red closely because as Brady mentioned, our water's got to go out somewhere and not have backwater. And with the Red, the height that it's at, that allows all those rivers to get into the Cheyenne and then the Cheyenne to get out of town.
So, there you go. Blake, I appreciate you taking time.
Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
thank you. Brady, it's nice to meet you, and we'll be chatting again soon, all right?
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Very good. Blake Hankey, Harwood Mayor, and we got Brady Woodward